Previously on Funny Science Fiction.
Going, dude, I don't know what your story is, but all I know is I am so into Jimmy's mom because Jimmy's mom has got it going on.
Hi, this is Bob Bergen, and welcome to the Funny Science Fiction Podcast, folks.
Podcast where the jokes won't feel funny, but your stomach sure will. Now, our guest today is a voice actor with a wide range of characters. He's voiced characters in the universes of Looney Tunes, Star Wars, Robot Chicken, Marvel, and more throughout his long career. Now, we're really excited to have Bob Bergen with us here today to talk about his career, his recent work, and anything that he has coming up. Welcome to the show, Bob.
Oh, thanks, guys. My pleasure. Those lightsabers look cool.
They are.
Nick knows personally.
I have a cool lightsaber. I did when we did the first Star Wars Robot Chicken. I got an email. Hey, George Lucas wants to premiere it at Skywalker Ranch. Would you like to go? And I'm like, yeah, sure. I would love to go. And as we were all leaving, we all got a lightsaber, which was the coolest thing on the planet. And we're walking on the Southwest airplane to fly back to LA. And we're all walking on with our lightsabers, and just to watch everybody watch us walk by with and of course I had a.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, I totally.
In what world would anybody say no to going to?
Probably not. Probably not. But I will tell you that they just handed you a lightsaber. Well, I voiced Luke for the Robot Chicken specials, and they gave me Darth Vader's lightsaber, and I was like, do I ask for a different color, or do I just don't look a gift Jedi in the mouth, Oh,
this was my dad's.
I know. I was like, hi, can I have another generation? No, I just kept mine.
That's cool though. So I have to admit, Bob, looking over your list of characters and things when I was going through IMDb as we were getting ready for you to come on the show today, I can't begin to tell you how excited I was to find out that even if it was just for a couple of episodes, that you were Wembley Fraggle from Fraggle Rock.
No, it was a whole season. Yeah, I did. The animated Fraggle Rock was in the mid '80s after the live action puppet version on HBO had debuted. So we not only did we do a whole season, but we were like NBC's #1 show when we got canceled, which was odd because they don't usually cancel #1 shows. But evidently, the rumor I heard was that Brandon Tartikoff's daughter didn't like it. And Brandon Tartikoff was the head of programming for NBC at the time. So
okay,
we got the axe. But it was probably one of the most enjoyable cartoons projects I've ever worked on, with people I'm still close with today, from our writer-producers, John Semper, Cynthia Friedlop, to our Rob Paulson. Sorry, I met Rob, Townsend Coleman, Mona Marshall. It was a terrific experience.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, so for me growing up, Fraggle Rock was one of the big things that I watched as often as I could between the live action and the cartoon. So for me, it was Fraggle Rock and Thundercats. So we had Larry Kenny on a couple weeks back, and I got to talk with Larry Kenny, the voice of Lion-O from Thundercats. And for me, that was like 10-year-old Tim just exploding on the inside, trying not to bubble
10-year-old
over on
Tim,
the
44-year-old Tim, same thing.
Shush, Kathleen. Nobody asked you. But yeah, so it was, for me that was really cool. When I went through and I found that, and I was like, and then I kind of fell into a Fraggle Rock wormhole,
right?
And which is, if you're gonna fall into a rabbit hole wormhole on YouTube, that's not such a bad place to be.
Why not just go
Fraggle
down a
Rock's
Fraggle
kind
Rock
of
hole?
fun.
Well,
Exactly.
I'll tell you, a few years ago, a friend of mine put together. We videotaped the recording session of the theme song. And a friend of mine put together in real time us recording, edited each line with the original theme song, so you can watch us recording in real time to the. It's hard to explain, but it's kind of cool. I have it on my Facebook page. But we're talking, gosh, a long time ago. So you're looking at very young versions of middle-aged voice actors today.
I'm gonna have to go find that video now.
And you won't get that song out of your head for about 10 years.
Oh no.
Timmy
No, every time
Fraggle Rock, and I'm like,
Oh yeah.
Every
Dan-
time I even think of the word Fraggle Rock or I see a picture of the Fraggles, instantly.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. It gets right into your head.
Yeah.
I need to go watch Fraggle
So,
Rock now.
as a matter of fact, there was I don't think there's so much underground anymore, but there was an underground rap group out of the Minnesota area, and they have a song called "You," which, because we're family friendly, we won't play on here. But the way that it starts off, I swear it's the beginning to the bass line to Fraggle Rock.
Is that right?
It is so close.
It is. Dun,
And
dun,
yeah, it's just so close, and then it goes off into things that are very unfraggle, and so we have. But yeah, it's one of those things where, I think it was my brother was actually playing it for me, and it's one of those things you go, "Are we listening to Fraggle Rock?"
Funny.
So
Yeah. So looking at your recently listed work, I saw a show called SEAL Team, and that you're credited there for seals, octopi, and dolphin sounds.
Yes, it beats working for a living. That's a movie. I think it debuted at Annecy a few months ago, and it's still waiting for distribution. But yeah, that was for a casting / voice director named Ned Lott. I had done dolphins for him before, and so he called me and he said, "Hey, I've got this film. We need dolphins and octopus sounds." I said, "Okay, I'm there, yeah, and I'm there." And if I'll show you guys, I think you can see this, but that's my booth right there, and I spend 8-10 hours a day in that room, and I recorded that entire movie in there. So, but yeah,
how does one go about learning to make dolphin sounds?
I don't know. You just go to the mic and you make sounds, and you see.
you hang out with Harlan Williams a lot, I guess.
A lot of it is just seat of your pants. Let me try something. I know that I'm doing. I can't say the name. I'm doing a show for DreamWorks right now where I play a character, and doesn't speak English. It's a creature, but they need to emote. So you look at the exposition. You create the sound, but you still have to be able to emote in that sound.
Mm-hmm.
But that's where the acting comes in. You've got the vocal versatility, but that's where the acting comes in. That was fun. SEAL Team was a blast, and I was working with Bill Farmer, a bunch of other very successful voice actors and friends of mine. It was a cool project.
Yeah. Speaking of how you do I guess creatures. Like I've noticed some other things that you had listed that you did creatures in. Like I believe you did the pet in Bug's Life. I think it was. Was it the pet?
I've done all kinds. I don't. Bugs Life so long ago. I did all kinds of in Bug's Life. Lots of bugs and.
Mm-hmm.
But again, I don't watch my work, so I don't. After I'm done recording it.
Me neither.
I
watch your work, but not my own, so I get it.
There you go. I'm just too picky to watch my own work. So people will say, "Hey, what did you do?" And so I'm like,
right.
"Oh, you."
So, do you have any pets? And do you ever put voices to your own pets?
No, I don't. My dad did. My dad gave a voice to every pet we had. It was the same voice, whether it was a dog or a cat. So my dad was in sales. He wasn't the most vocally versatile, but he did give a voice to every pet that we had. I had a cat once, and I would talk to the cat in a funny voice, but I don't think, at least me, I don't come home and just continue doing voices. I look at it like, well, if you're a plumber, are you walking around with your wrench looking for a leak? So it's kind of what I do for a living, and I enjoy what I do for a living, but I'm not constantly doing voices for things.
Gotcha.
That
Very
actually
good.
makes a lot of sense.
What's that?
And that actually makes a lot of sense that you wouldn't keep doing it at home. Whereas those of us who don't do voice work then give our pets strange voices because why not?
I think it becomes obnoxious after a while. Like if this, I just I don't walk around doing funny voices. I don't watch a lot of cartoons. I never watch my work. I can't say never. I rarely watch my work. But every once in a while, like we're doing these Looney Tunes shorts for HBO Max that are so freaking good. They're so well made, well written. The music is great. The storyboards are great. The character designs are great. Haven't seen a lot of them, but the ones I've seen, I've been very impressed with. And not because of my work, it's just because of the overall production.
Nice. So now, typically when we have somebody on who has anything to do with Star Wars, that's typically the very first thing that I want to talk about with them, because I'm a huge, massive Star Wars nerd.
Okay.
Or as they like to call me, the resident fanboy. So
you're the only one that calls you that.
Shush, he doesn't need to know that. Anyway, but one of the other reasons I was excited to talk to you, and now clearly I was really excited about the whole Wembley thing with the Fraggle Rock, because that's part of my childhood. But the other reason I was really excited to have you on today was about talking about some of the things with Star Wars. And we're not going to get into specifics about your characters or anything like that. But for those who are listening, he is, of course, the voice of Luke Skywalker. He's done that in a ton of video games and Robot Chicken. He's done the voice of Lama Su from Clone Wars and the Bad Batch animated series. So my question for you, Bob, was the Star Wars universe stuff. Now I kind of think I have an idea of where you're going to go with this, and I'm hoping I'm right, that you were already a fan before the work came, or was it just another paycheck and did that come later?
It was just a paycheck. I saw the movie. I saw Star Wars in 1977 when it came out. Enjoyed it. I will say that I'm more of a Star Trek fan than a Star Wars fan. When the first audition came up for Luke Skywalker for a game, I turned it down because I said to my agent, I can't do Mark Hamill. I just can't do it. It's not in my wheelhouse. And she said, okay. So she called the producers and turned it down. And then they called back and they said, no, we hear something in his voice. We think we'd like him to read for this. So I went to the audition and I said, guys, I don't do Mark Hamill. And they said, don't do Mark Hamill. Do Luke Skywalker. And I went, oh, okay. So play the character sound like me. And they said, if you play the character, you kind of sound like him. So, and then they had to give me a little education on pre-Jedi and post-Jedi Luke. You know, because pre-Jedi Luke, he's kind of whiny. He's got this cadence, and I don't want to go there. I want to go here. And there's just this, and then he gets this thing called the Force, and he gets a little centered. And he's just a little bit more reserved. He still has that cadence, but he's a little. And then the last round of movies, he becomes a little bit weathered and a little bit older because Mark became a little bit older. So the first game that I booked, before I said yes, I called my agent. I said, well, can you call Mark's agent and ask him if he wants to do this? Because if he does, I don't. I just feel awkward taking somebody else's character or work. And he, at the time, was not interested. So that's how I got that particular character. But I will tell you that every time I get especially that generation of Star Wars, I have to really, like, how do you pronounce the planets? How do you pronounce the creatures? Because I'm not a diehard fan.
Sure.
Will tell you that the Bad Batch has been really cool because it's a totally different character than Luke. Lama Su is he's a very cold and calculated character, and I just get very close to the mic, and I don't talk very loud. And you never know what he's actually thinking about, by the way, neither do I. So that's why I play him so well. Because they're like, we don't know. I'm like, I don't know where he's going. And they're like, yeah, keep it that way. Because I want the audience to not know where he's going, too. So he's fun. I really enjoy playing him.
Yeah, I will agree. As a fan of the animated series, I don't know where Lama Su is going either. So, which is kind of interesting. It's kind of an open-ended book as to where his character can go and what's going to happen.
Yeah,
I'm excited for season 2. I really, really am. I think and I've said this before. I think the Bad Batch is the perfect follow-up to Clone Wars. It's been a ton of fun to watch. So,
and by the way, I didn't know they kept the name of the show secret to the cast until almost one of our last recording sessions, because NDAs are real important today.
Mm-hmm.
You don't want things to leak. So, people were like, what are you working on now? And I have to think back, what can I talk about? What can't I talk about? What shouldn't I talk about? So when we finally got to talk about it, and I'd been recording and, knew these terrific stories, and it fills in the blanks on other stories that people already know. It's really, really cool. And it's really exciting to finally be able to talk about stuff.
Awesome.
Yeah. So, still on the topic of Star Wars, even though you're not a huge Star Wars fan, which is fine, you being the voice actor behind Luke for the Star Wars video games, starting with Shadows of the Empire, going through the Jedi Knight series, and then on into Battlefront 2. Some of those games have different endings for you if you stay on the light side or if you go to the dark side. So have you ever looked at the script and preferred one ending over the other? No?
I don't know the script. I've never played a game in my life. I don't know what happens. I have no idea. So when you record a game, you're by yourself. You have a book this big, okay? And the last half is usually screams. And you have to give the player every possible option at every moment in the game. So it might say Luke's 2,500-foot death scream, Luke's 2,000-foot death scream, Luke's 1,000-foot death scream. And you have to give the same commitment in performance each time because you never know where the player's going to take it. And in fact, when I started doing games, I would say, can we do one big, really, really, really long death scream, and you guys just cut it where you need it because that hurts right here. And they're like, nope, we got to do it each commitment. So I don't know where the games are going to go. I'm doing a Marvel game right now, and I don't know where it's going to go. I just read my lines, and if they like my take, we move on to the next. And if they like that take, we move on to the next. So I was at Comic-Con a few years ago. I don't know if you know these actors. I was on this side of me. On this side of me was Misty Lee, and on this side of me was Fred Tatasciore. And we were under the table with our cell phones on IMDb for everybody else's questions. So when somebody said, hey, when you did that Skylander game and you played so-and-so, they're like, you played so-and-so, it was 2012, and you did actually 4 games. Thank you. Okay, yes. So I try to explain it to people, and I so appreciate the fans because they know everything, but I try to explain it to people like this. When you're a builder, even if you're an architect, do you remember every window you installed? You might remember the plans for the whole thing, but you're not going to remember every doorknob. You're not going to remember every screen. You're not going to remember every roof shingle. So, but you remember the end result and the fun or not that you had putting it together. I will say this, it's really rare that I don't have fun doing what I'm doing. I mean, come on, we're doing fun voices for games and cartoons. What's not to have fun? But, I'm not in control of the edit. I'm not in control of the finished product or where they cut out the really great joke. I was like, that was my best joke. But reasons I don't like to watch the finished product because I'm such a control freak. I'm not in control of the end result.
That actually makes a lot of sense. Like after you think about it for a minute, you're like, oh yeah, I would feel that way too if I had put all this work into it, and then they're like, yeah, no, we're not using that.
Or they didn't use you at all. You go to see it, and you're like, oh, they replaced me. Oh, I see. Okay, they didn't tell me. Why not?
That's how that's working.
Well, now it's a bad day. Okay.
Now it's a bad day.
Oh, goodness.
So you have a huge amount of voice acting experience and a lot of critical acclaim. And which do you think is harder to do, to be funny or to be threatening?
Oh, that's a really good question that nobody ever asks me. Neither. They're both. It's just commitment to acting. I think you're born with comedic timing. I don't think somebody can teach you that you've got good pitch and timing. What they can teach you in class is they can teach you the technique to repeat those skills at will consistently. But you're born a dancer. You're born an actor. You're born a painter. You may not have the skills to do it yet, but you've got the talent to do it. I like playing both. I like it's really fun when somebody, like for instance, Bad Batch, that was a character that most people here used to like Looney Tunes and Disney and Pixar and stuff like that. And then they hear this evil, kind of a deeper, rich villain sort of thing. And they're like, ooh, I didn't even know you could do that. I'm like, and that to me is more fun when people go, I didn't know you could go there. And what happens then is you've got buyers and producers and casting directors going, Well, we didn't even consider him for that kind of a role before because we never heard it. So it opens a lot of doors. I just like to work. The fun thing about what we do is even if it's an ongoing series, you don't know where these characters are going to go until you get the script, and you're like, oh, they get to do that, cool. So it's never dull.
Excellent.
All right. So sticking out, of course, on the theme of your character lines and some things like that. Now, some of the characters that you've done are what I like to call one stops. You did the job and you moved on. Some of them are ones you've had the opportunity to do repeat performances for. You've come back over the years and you've done different episodes, different shows, whatever it may be. What does it mean to you personally and professionally to be involved with projects like that? We'll say like Star Wars or Looney Tunes, where you get to come back and develop those characters over a period of time.
It's really nothing short of a amazing pleasure, because Looney Tunes was why I got into the business to begin with. So, I always wanted to work in that franchise. There were no guarantees. What has been interesting is, Mel Blanc died in '89. I did my first Looney Tunes job in 1990. And they had never thought about what happens when we have to continue these characters and we don't have the guy that created them. They didn't plan it. They didn't think about it. They just kind of had like they had blinders on. And every time I work for a different show, a different producer, I'm an actor. They've created this property, and I have to kind of steer it the way they want me to steer it, which means, I've been doing Porky Pig off and on for 30-something years. Well, over the last 30 years, we didn't have references of Mel Blanc. How would he play Bugs Bunny or Porky Pig or Daffy Duck talking about a cell phone, a home computer, the internet? So we have to take these characters and incorporate them in today's world, today's pop culture. If you look at the classic Looney Tunes, that was the pop culture from the 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, where, today it's been there, done that. So taking these characters, trying to keep the integrity of the character, keep that relevant and authentic, but also keep them contemporary. That is a challenge. Every once in a while, I will get a script where I'm like, that's not written very Porky-esque. So I will do it as written. I will do it the way they want. And I'll say to them, can I try one for me? They never say no. And I never know which take they print. I don't know. But I'm at least going to say, let me try to reword it just a little bit. But this is their baby. And I'm an actor for hire. I'm not the producer. So I do what they want, but I try to infuse the creativity that I can bring to it. But it's, we're doing a preschool show right now with the Looney Tunes. I've never done a preschool show with these characters before. We did Duck Dodgers a few years ago, which was an homage to Chuck Jones. That was pure Chuck Jones. It was so well done. New Looney Tunes was a different design, but the writing was classic wacky Looney Tunes. HBO shorts. I mean, there's just so many versions of these characters. What I will tell you guys is if I'm not told how to play the character, or here's what we're looking for, like the HBO Max shorts, very Bob Clampett, very Tex Avery. And if your fans know classic Looney Tunes, they'll know what that genre feels and looks like. If I'm not given a choice, my mind goes to 1953 to 1956, Chuck Jones, Drip Along Daffy, Robin Hood Daffy, Duck Dodgers. That's the Porky that I feel that's where Mel Blanc really ended up finding who he really was, or at least from my creative perspective. But right now we're playing Bob Clampett, Daffy, Porky, which is so much fun because I never had a chance to do that.
Nice. I like that. Yeah, I think about a lot about the differences and you when you see different actors do it. Now, for instance, you weren't the Porky Pig for the new Space Jam movie. Correct. Okay, just double checking on that. I'll make sure that I had that
because they didn't stay for the end credits. But no, I did not. I did Tweety, but not Porky.
Right, that's what I thought. Because I remember seeing an interview with you where somebody asked you about that and was asking about the rap, and you're like, "Well, that wasn't me."
That wasn't me.
Okay,
Yeah.
Easy to do. It wasn't me.
Yeah. If whether you liked it or didn't like it, don't blame me. I didn't do it.
But I would imagine that you with a character that's so near and dear to you because you've been doing Porky's voice for so long. I think, I'm sure that you're excited to see other people succeed and have a chance in doing it as well. But I would also think at some point you also go, not that you're critiquing other people's work, but you also go, I would have tried doing it this way. Does that happen?
Well, yeah, it's funny. I've talked to other actors, on-camera actors. I'm very active at the TV Academy, and there have been different versions of the same character played by different actors, and I've thought, I wonder what what did Pierce Brosnan feel about Daniel Craig doing James Bond, and et cetera, et cetera. I mean, the bottom line is it's somebody else's interpretation. Somebody else's they're taking direction. There's all kinds of factors involved in a performance playing a character other people have played. Bottom line is, that was not the first time I didn't play that character. There have been lots of other times that I haven't played the character, and I know for a fact I'm working on 3 or 4 projects right now playing the character. So there's plenty of work for everybody, no matter what. But I never think about, I would have done it differently, because what's the point? That's wasted time, wasted energy.
Fair enough.
So you had mentioned that you don't typically watch your own work, which I get. I really do understand that. But have you ever been just watching TV or a movie and then all of a sudden realized that was your voice you were hearing in a background scene? Like if you're like airport, doctor's office, whatever, where they just have a TV playing.
Yes and no. A few years ago, for the 20th anniversary of the first Space Jam movie, D. Bradley Baker and Jocelyn Blue and I, we went to a screening because they re-released it. And I'm watching the movie, and I don't think I'd seen the movie since it came out. And I turned to D and I said, "That's my voice. I can hear me, and I have no recollection of ever recording that entire life. I don't remember this scene. I don't remember doing it." That wasn't. No, I saw the first Space Jam on an airplane before they had like individual screens when they had the movie for everybody to see. That was kind of cool. I was like, right after it came out, I was on an airplane flying to Dallas, I think, and I'm like, I'm hearing myself at 30,000 feet. This is kind of neat.
So our Facebook page has over 150,000 followers, and it's just filled with memes. It's this mixed with this. So if you were to take 2 of your characters and combine them so that they would work together in a show, which 2 characters would you pick to work together?
I don't know. What about, I did a film years ago called The Emperor's New Groove, where I play a squirrel. Mm-hmm. What about the squirrel and Porky Pig? Which I'm now combining studios, which is just that's a lawsuit ready to happen. But you might have, Bucky's, like, come again. I can't understand that word you're saying. What do you mean you can't understand me? I talk fine. Yes, I do. Yes, I do. You don't even speak English. Well, I try.
I'll be fine in a minute.
Send your lawsuits, Warner Brothers and Disney, to Tim, Nick, and Kathleen.
Oh my goodness. Now I have to. It was so funny. We started talking about Fraggle Rock, and I'm like, I need to go watch Fraggle Rock. And then you start doing the squirrel voice. I'm like, wait, maybe I need to watch Emperor's New Groove today.
There you go.
I think my 3-year-old will enjoy that one today.
Oh, it's perfect for the 3-year-old.
It is. It is. Trying to give Tim a minute to recover some composure over there.
I'm good. All's fine over here. No worries.
But you guys ask good. Nobody's asked me, can you combine 2 characters you've done and do a scene? That was fun.
Well, we try. Every once in a while we hit the mark. We try. All right, Bob, we're at a portion of our show now where we like to play a little quiz game with our guests. So
All right.
it's a 5-question quiz.
All right.
All right. All the questions are multiple choice. So
Okay.
give you a fair chance. And the quiz is set about a person named Bob Bergen. So I'm hoping that you'll be able to get these right. And I'm hoping that our research was accurate when we asked these questions.
If you went to IMDb, probably not, because IMDb, half my career is not on there, and the other half I never even auditioned for. But let's see what we find out.
All right. Well, we're going to have fun with this one way or the other. So if you get 3 out of the 5 questions correct, we're going to send you one of these super cool, handy dandy, I gave to the Red Shirt Widows and Orphans Fund coffee mugs.
Is that Star Trek font?
That is the Star Trek font. It is actually based on Star Trek, the Red Shirts. So Nick's dad is an author. Nick's dad is an author, and he wrote this book called Custodians of the Cosmos, which is all about a young man who decided he wanted to join Starfleet but didn't make it. He washed out, so he tried to rejoin as a custodian to boldly clean up after those who had boldly just went.
I love that.
So
it's really funny.
So if you get 3 of them correct, we're going to send you the coffee mug. If you get 4 of them correct, we're going to send you that book. And Nick is going to hold up the other book, Drayton's brand new book called Dances with Aliens. It's all about a man. The last man on Earth is actually a dog, but not a 4-legged one that goes woof, but a singing, dancing cartoon dog of the theme park variety. But the question asks...
This comes out of Nick's head? All this
it came out of my dad's head.
Okay, all right.
Yeah. So the question is, how can intelligent beings develop the technology to travel the cosmos, but yet not recognize a man in a dog suit? So, think Independence Day visits Disney. So
I worked on Independence Day. I was one of the voices of the pilots, but I was all the American pilots.
Aha.
And I said to the director, aren't people watching this going to tell us the same guy? Because I'm this. Ready? Did you see that? Yeah, sorry. What was it? I don't know, but holy cow. I know. It's because... And I was like, and they had a Russian guy for the Russian and an Italian guy for. I said, can you hire more than one actor? And they said, no, we're just going to stick with one because we're cheap.
That's funny. And honestly, I never noticed it, and I'll have to go back.
And they said there's going to be musical score and sound effects and things like that. And I'm listening going, no, that's me. I can hear me just, that's
no, it's just me.
And then they did a sequel, and I'm like, am I going to be in the sequel? No, chances are you crashed. Yeah, but that was only one of them.
Nice.
All crashed.
Nice.
My other characters are still alive.
Right?
That's awesome. So if you get 3 correct, we'll send you the mug. If you get 4 correct, we'll send you I'll have them send you both books and the mug. Okay.
So this is really just a multiple choice. I got to get something right because this isn't just my opinion. This is going to be a factual quiz.
Hopefully, yes.
I'm nervous. Okay.
However,
potentially factual.
If potentially factual, now that you threw the IMDb thing out there, but also if you get less than 3, so 2 questions or less, we take a picture of you, we make a meme out of you, and we submit it to our group. We call it the Fun Sequence.
Okie dokie. All right.
Are you good with that?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. Cool beans. All right, Nick, take us out.
In addition to Porky Pig, you voice a certain eager young space cadet for Warner Brothers. Whose sidekick was he? Bugs Bunny, Marvin the Martian, or Duck Dodgers?
That would be Captain Dodgers.
You are correct.
Correct.
Oh, I love the voices. Oh, goodness. All right, question number 2. In the Dark Forces, the Jedi Knight game series, Luke Skywalker is not the only Jedi Knight who trains new disciples. The main character of the series also has a hand in this. What is his name? Harrison Hottie Pants, Kyle Katarn, or Din Djarin?
Well, I'm gonna take the first one away because it's. I have no idea. I'll just take a wild guess and say B.
You are correct.
Your wild guess.
There we
was
go.
correct.
Before me.
There you go. Harrison Hottie Pants, by the way, is the name that Kathleen's mother has given to Harrison Ford. So it's a running joke on our show.
It is.
Anytime
My mom
Harrison
hates me for it.
Anytime Harrison Ford gets brought up, we bring up Harrison Hottie Pants.
Okay.
So,
and then my mom texts me angrily after she watches episodes.
All right.
but at least I know she's still watching.
Hey, her residuals.
Wembley Fraggle is named after Wembley Stadium. Which city is Wembley Stadium located in? London, England, Wembley, England, or Edinburgh, Scotland?
Or Edinburgh, Scotland. Yeah.
You know what?
I don't know. London?
It was Wembley, England.
Okay. All right.
All right, so we're 2 out of 3. You're doing good.
All right. You, Bob Bergen, have hosted a quiz game show for kids.
Mm-hmm.
It was called A, Are You Smarter Than a Fifth Grader?
Mm-hmm.
B, Jeopardy for Kids, or C, Jep.
All right, so this isn't fair, okay? Because recently I don't know if you can see this, but I have a Jep podium in my office. All right, so yeah.
So I really hope you get this one right then.
Yeah, it's Jep.
It
There you go.
is.
All right, so you are 3 out of 4. Yeah, so you get the mug.
Yay!
Pick out the show where your character wasn't named Bucky.
Oh, that's true. Okay, yeah, okay, all right. I can.
Was it Emperor's New School,
Okay,
Avengers Assemble,
okay.
or Apple and Onion?
Here's the last one.
Yes.
Mainly because I never even auditioned for it, but it's the last. Yeah.
All right.
But
so
I will tell you that when I started playing Winter Soldier, I was like, oh, that's very cool because I've got 2 characters named Bucky. Very different characters, but both
well,
named Bucky.
yes.
Now I want to combine those characters.
Well, Bucky, Winter Soldier, he's I have to get close to the mic. He's not Lama Su calculated, but he's very guttural. He's kind of Clint Eastwood like. And Bucky would be like, I said he's very Clint Eastwood like. What do you mean you can't hear me? Eastwood like. What do you mean call my agent? Call my agent what? I'm not going into mime. They can hear me. I've got a microphone.
I'm just imagining Bucky sitting on
God.
Bucky's shoulder, talking to him, and him arguing. And it's just...
I'm good. Promise, I'm good.
But they're both Disney, so that's okay. They're the same studio.
There you
Right.
go.
Yeah.
That one's not going to get us in as much trouble.
All right, Bob, we're going to send you the coffee mug and both copies of the book, both Custodians of the Cosmos and the brand new one, Dances with Aliens. And we'll make sure that Drayton puts some calligraphy in the front
Very
of both of them.
Well, Bob, thank you so much for being on the show today. Where can listeners go to find out more about you and things that are upcoming?
Things that I do.
Yeah.
Things that are upcoming that you're not going to violate NDAs with.
Exactly. Yeah. The usual Instagram, Bergen.Bob, Twitter @BobBergen, Facebook. I'm pretty easy to find. I answer emails. So, yeah, you can find me.
All right.
All right. We are going to make sure that we put those in the show description so that our listeners can also research you like we did.
Cool.
All right, so we want to remind everybody that subscribing is the single most important thing that you can do to ensure that we get more amazing guests, like, of course, Bob Bergen here today, and have funny moments for you to listen to. So please subscribe. It helps more than you know. And be sure to go check out Bob's work as well. Apparently, don't check out IMDb because that's not complete. Iffy at best. All right. And if for some reason you're not happy with the content of our video today, all you have to do is submit in single form, of course, to Porky the Pig, along with his assistant, Tweety Bird. Small in stature, but large in power in the Funny Science Fiction Complaint Department group. They don't shrink back when faced with even the toughest of complaints, especially Tweety, because he knows that he can pull out the secret weapon at any time, Granny. Porky and Tweety handle the paperwork. Granny handles the dirty work. So you can be sure that the offending party is about to catch an umbrella upside the head. Well, from Granny, while Porky laughs and says, "That's all, folks."
Well, thanks again, Bob.
You bet. My pleasure. Do you want?
Right.
Do you want to?
That's all, folks. I don't have to do it if you don't want.
Well, of course we want it.
We'll always take it.
All right, ready?
Ready.
That's all, folks.
And that's it.
You heard the pig. Bye, guys.
Bye, everybody.
Our show is brought to you by our charity sponsor, the Red Shirt Widows and Orphans Fund, which supports the Wish Upon a Teen Foundation that helps out sick kids when they need it most. And just imagine the comfort you'll give Red Shirt Crewman number 42. He'll know that when he puts on the red shirt and chooses to get cloned with the aid of Lama Su, only to get a single life insurance policy, he'll know that he didn't leave his family destitute and without hope, because the Red Shirt Widows and Orphans Fund has his back, and the cloning rights to his clones.
And speaking of sponsors and show partners, check out this short video from our good friends over at Level Up Lightsabers. Information about Level Up Lightsabers and their online training sessions can be found in the episode description below.
On behalf of the rest of the hosts of Funny Science Fiction, we'd like to thank you for listening to this episode. If you'd like to be a guest on one of our future episodes, please contact us by means of our Facebook group, Funny Science Fiction. You can find us on Twitter or Instagram using the handle @FunnySci-Fi, or you can go to DraytonAllen.com and click the Contact Me link at the bottom of the page. Thanks again. Hope you enjoyed the episode.